All right, to the cicadas singing around here, we are about to start working on the 63 four-door to take the floor pan out of it so that we can put it into the 63 hardtop. It's getting confusing. There's a lot of cars around here. But after the break, we're going to be talking about exactly how we do that. So stick around. We got stuff to do. Restoration of a classic Ford is a journey of discovery. Let Autocrafters help you with yours. We offer quality parts for Falcon, Fairlane, F-Series, Galaxy, Maverick, and Pinto. Contact us today. What we're trying to do is we've got to take the seat out in order to facilitate getting the floor pan out of this car. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to start cutting things because I've tried any number of ways to get the bolts out of here, and the nuts are frozen on the shafts, and I've done PB blast and everything else over the last few days, and it's just not working. Besides that, the nuts are so rusty that the heads are rounded off on them. I don't know if I did that. I don't think I did. I think that was already like that. Somebody probably already tried to remove the seat from this car. So now I'm going to have to go in through here with a cutoff wheel and basically just cut this thing out of here to get to the stuff that I need on the floor pan because I can't get my cutoff wheel where I need it to be. Hard life of a first world guy, huh? So here we go. Get over the hump and pop out. Woo! Trying to get out of there. That's terrible. All right, so in the case of every time you try to do something, something happens and gets in your way, that's exactly what's going on here. For one thing, I tried to go in and find the spot welds on here with a wire wheel, and I can't find them on this side. I can find them over here, but there are just too many pock marks in the sheet steel here for me to be able to find these. Because what I was originally going to do is just cut this up off the brace and pop it out. So now that I'm having to change my plan a little bit, I have to take these bolts out. Now the bolts go through, and these are actually cab mount bolts. There's another one back toward the back of the car as well, and there's obviously the one for the actual cab mount for the firewall mount itself. Rather to pull everything out and then flip it over and cut the spot welds off of the brace this way. I'm just hoping the cab doesn't collapse on me whenever we pull everything apart. So I'm going to drop about 2 inches, but still, it could damage the floor pan, warp it out of shape, and then we're fighting that as well. All right, I had to cut this one out. What did we do before Dremels, right? I mean, I had to take a Dremel tool because of the fact that a big cutoff wheel like I'm using for the rest of this stuff is just too big. It's too much in the way. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out now. There we go. Hey, it came out on its own. That's a good thing. I guess I'll save that one. I don't know why. Probably will. Now I've got 4 spot welds that hold the cab mount in the car. We're going to take and cut this one out. That's the only other one I'm going to worry about. And there's one right here in the middle that I'm also going to pull out. The 2 over here, I don't know. They look pretty rusty. I think I could probably just get my Steck in there and pop those loose from the back. After I get these things cut out, I'll Steck the back of both of these. Now Steck, I'm showing you what that looks like, is actually an angled, basically a cutter. Even if I had my air tools right now, which I still don't have a compressor, wouldn't be able to get to this stuff with that. We would have to use the stack on it. I use this on a low and slow setting. Check it every once in a while to see where we're at. I really don't know that I want to go all the way through it. I'm trying to stay away from that if I can. Yeah, that one just popped all the way through. I think those two are not going to be a problem. All right, I'm going to go grab my hammer and tools, and I'm probably not going to be able to show you this because it's kind of hard to get up underneath the car, and I'm working by myself right now, so I'm going to have to try to do this. I might be able to show you, and I might not. All right, I got all the spot welds cut, I think, I hope. So now I'm going to start working on cutting the floor pan out. I'm hoping this thing just doesn't collapse because I'm cutting a brace out in here as well. We'll get to that in just a minute because this is not deep enough to go in and make the final cut on both ends up here and over on the floor pan on this side where the seat brace is at. I'm hoping that the brace back here behind me will hold everything up, in theory. We'll put my safety squints on, get to it. All right, I can see the panel starting to dive away from the tunnel a little bit. I'm not super concerned about that yet. It's not pushing up, which would mean that the brace was loose and starting to push against this inside section here. And I'm just doing plunge cuts along. I'm gonna try to take it all the way around the corner. I'm hoping this blade will hold out. I only have one more of these good ones left, and I don't get any more in until Thursday because life. So if we do anything else, we'll have to use the less expensive Harbor Freight ones, which tend to go pretty quick. More change outs. Back at it. This is really hot, hard work. It's nice out today. It's in the 70s, but my golly, there's a lot to do here. Now I cut this way bigger than I'm gonna need. It's not to the size that it's gonna be. So I've got to cut a little more out over here, and then we're gonna cut the braces out, and hopefully it doesn't go just like that. All right, here we go with the cheaper cut-off wheels. All right, grab the Dremel and finish that cut. And this should be somewhat free and clear. But you can see how much of that one is left compared to the one I was using before. And that was just that one short cut. Now, admittedly, it did skip. Anytime these things skip, that's exactly what can happen to them. Yep. So that whole panel is now in the wind. There's a bracket underneath the chassis right here that goes all the way over there. And I think I have managed to plunge cut this section with the big cutoff wheel when I still had those running. And all that's left now is to take out this section here, and I may go and employ my Sawzall. Technically, it's a reciprocating saw, not just a Sawzall. That's a brand. In case somebody gets all pissy with me about it. Ah! there we go. I ran into something. Again. This one may be cut through all the way. We're just breaking stuff right and left today, aren't we? We're probably hitting the top of the transmission at this point. Hopefully the body doesn't collapse on the chassis here. I think this is mostly a seat brace, but we'll find out in a couple of seconds. I'll bust another blade if I'm not careful. All right, gotta go up underneath and look. We are through it. And it didn't pop the panel like I was worried it would. All right, we got everything loose. In theory, tab stuck over there. Break it free. The reason I'm doing this is one of our cameras is about to die and we're plugged into the plug that I need to run my electrical stuff. There we go. Now it's out. So what you're going to possibly have when you're doing one of these kind of cutouts is you're going to start seeing fractures in the metal because the metal, because of the rust on it, has gotten soft in some areas and it's going to hole out. In other words, if you've got a spot of rust like this stuff here where you see it bubbling up, chances are is not. If you pop that off of there, you're going to have a hole, a small hole right there in the bottom, because what the rust is doing is it's just blooming out of a spot and spreading, okay? Now, I'm going to show you a couple of the other things that hit us in the nose. I really butchered this up, but I got pissed. This spot right here, I got mad. Because I couldn't get to it with anything. I couldn't get to it from the bottom. I didn't know where it was at from the top because of all the rust that was on that line there. You just couldn't see it, so I made a mistake there. But I've got to go in and repair that whole section there. So I'm saying, you know what? It is what it is. I'm not going to worry about that too much. So also not going to worry too much about these small rust spots. I'm going to go back in with some POR 15, clean up all of this stuff, POR 15 it really hot after I get it back in the other car. I'm not going to do it beforehand. It's just kind of a waste of time. I have cut this with an excess of metal. I have way more area than I need. I'm actually going to be cutting down just below this plug here around on this panel. So I've got more metal than I need on this. Now you can really see a little clearer where I messed up here and where there's some rust spots around there. Honestly, there were rodents that had gotten up into the cab mounts and were peeing on the metal, and that caused a rust place because most of the time these areas back in here were not getting a lot of paint. They didn't dip these cars, they sprayed everything. What was causing me a little bit of problem was this mount right here, which I could not get to because this was hidden underneath the frame rail. So I eventually had to come in and cut this off with the Sawzall, and then that popped loose. And then of course we had two spot welds. This one I saw and was able to get. This one I could not see exactly where the spot weld was, so I ended up having to just butcher the piss out of it. Well, I didn't have to. I got mad. I'll be honest, I'll tell you that right now. Hey man, Patreon, check it out. At the $10 a month level, you get monthly meetings with me, which is kind of cool. Anything above that, these guys that are going up beside me over here, they're the ones that have put their money where their mouth is, and they are actually supporting us on a financial basis with $10 a month or more. Beyond that, if we've done anything at all to give you any assistance with your cars, if we've helped you save any money, maybe you ought to think about a little bit of Patreon for us. It doesn't even go to me. I don't get any of that money. It goes to Andrew. It keeps him off the streets. Because, you know, you want to keep him off the streets. Also, folks, subscribe to the channel. When we get past the 5,000 that we need right now, when we're over 100,000 subscribers and we stay there for 2 weeks, I will shut up about subscribers. You'll just get the little subscriber button at the bottom of the page. Bada bing, bada boom, that's all it's going to be. But until then, if you know other channels that could help us get to our 100,000, that would be swell. I would like the help at this point because I just want to get the 5,000 before Christmas. So if you know another channel and say, hey guys, These guys need help over here to get the people. Come along, come aboard. We look forward to it. Finally, folks, be kind to each other, be good to each other, treat each other nice. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you on down the road. I feel like I'm in the cavalry, like the old Civil War or post-Civil War cavalry with these things on. Should have a saber. Oh. I got the blue shirt, well, kind of blue. It's not dark enough. I'm not going to get the history thing going right now. We'd be here all day because I love history. Anyway.